Acute illnesses tend to manifest in people for a few days to weeks, but COVID-19 infection is showing a different trend. Imagine feeling tired, having muscle aches, or even difficulty in breathing for more than a year. It can be devastating. This week's episode on Health Watch, we take a look at long COVID, what it is, and how to manage it. My name is Saada Hassan. The hospital experience can be scary, especially if you have to stay in longer and away from your loved ones. As the pandemic continued to threaten the stability of the health sector due to many people testing positive for COVID-19 and others requiring hospitalization, the Ministry of Health gave room to home-based care.
Also now launched the home care system by discharging a substantial number of people from hospitals. From Kenyatta University, we have discharged some 338 persons. From Coast General Hospital, we have discharged some 212 persons, which means that we are probably about 600 persons who have been discharged from various hospitals to be taken care of at home.
As a result, a big number of Kenyans who tested positive from 22nd June 2020 remained indoors until they tested negative for the virus. What was not factored in is that some of those who experienced mild symptoms or even those severely affected could end up suffering long-term complications of the virus. Meet Modoni and Washuka, vibrant women in the society who continue to suffer from long COVID, even after testing negative for the virus. Post-acute sequelae of COVID or long COVID, according to Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, refers to a wide range of new, returning or ongoing health problems experienced more than 4 weeks after first being infected with COVID-19. Modoni describes long COVID as
never-ending sense of anxiety and isolation and just not an unsteadiness. You know, there's like, there hasn't been really a full steadiness. There's, you know, the initial infection with COVID, that is what, I don't know, 14 to 21 days or whatever. And then afterwards, a barrage of things that you never really, you get a handle of it, and then something else comes out.
Washuka says that
it's a multi-organ, multi-system disease. So basically, you know, anywhere that, you know, your cells go, your blood goes, you know, this virus can affect. So, you know, I think they've recorded about 100 plus symptoms that, you know, they've been recorded by long haulers. And so it really differs from one person to the next.
In Kenya, there is no proper documentation of people who have or are experiencing long COVID. Dr. Gina Gitao, a COVID clinical manager, says that many people are experiencing long COVID without knowing.
After the initial infection, which we expect to clear after 2 weeks or so, some people end up having symptoms for weeks and months, even after the infection. And there was no definitive term for it. But if you ask someone who's had COVID, they'll tell you, nowadays, I get tired so quickly, I don't understand why. Or I used to run 10 kilometers, and now I cannot even do one without getting tired. Some people will say that I could not taste very well, or I had an altered sense of taste or smell when I got COVID. It's never come back.
CDC states signs and symptoms of COVID as tiredness or fatigue, difficulty thinking or concentrating, headache, loss of smell or taste, pounding heart, chest pain, joint or muscle pain, depression, anxiety, among others. In extreme conditions, body organs including heart, lung, kidney, skin, and brain functions can be affected.
Injury or inflammation to various systems. So it could be your lungs. So that's why some people may have a continuous cough for some time. Some people go home on oxygen and may require a bit of oxygen for some time. It could be within your neuro or your psychological conditions. So you get your mood disorders. Some people forget a lot, what we call brain fog, and people don't understand. They judge them that, why do I have to repeat the same thing twice?
For Washuka, it is now a year and 4 months since she started experiencing COVID-19 related symptoms.
It started in March last year. It started with, it was after a trip in the Netherlands. When I got back a couple of days later, my first symptoms were migraines, really bad migraines, acid reflux, sore throat, chest pain, and body aches. And I went immediately to see my GP, and he gave me antibiotics, which obviously for a virus were not very effective. So I kind of braved it, because at that point, the testing in Kenya was not really available. It was more being focused on healthcare workers. And so after a while, I just decided to get back to work and exercising. And I would say at month 3 is when the nightmare began, and when I was hit by 80 different symptoms. And sadly, when I spoke to my GP about it, he didn't take me seriously. He actually told me that I needed to seek help from a psychologist, because I must have been having a lot of personal issues. And yeah, this is called gaslighting, and it's happening to so many of us. And I think that's also, the root of a lot of the mental health issues that come with being on this journey, is that not being believed.
Months into fighting the virus in their bodies, common COVID-19 symptoms will still not go away.
It's been a journey of 6 months. So I started off with a cold at the end of January, and it just, nothing was working. I had the usual tangawizi, ginger tea, sleep, and I couldn't shake it off. Now I'm in a multi-generational household, so one of my family members just got really sick. It started off again like a cold, and he was completely out of it. Like, he never left the room. He was having sweats. And then my mother got sick, and she just spiraled, and then I spiraled, and I was like, I don't know what this is. And then, because my mother is a medical worker, she's like, this could be COVID.
I had a lot of hallucinations as well, and this really loud buzzing noise that was in my head, 24/7, that just, it would make me go crazy. Really bad nerve pain as well. So a lot of the times I would feel like my body was just burning from the inside under my skin. A lot of heart palpitations, chest issues, stomach issues. The fatigue, like Mugani said, was just, there were days you couldn't even lift your arms or your legs, or, walk to the kitchen or go to the bathroom. That was really difficult. Muscles and joints. The insomnia was really horrible, and I still struggle with that. I think now, this week I'm getting 2 to 3 hours a night of sleep, and it's, when you're already dealing with other symptoms, it's really difficult to even, get out of bed and function. And also, I think it also then sort of feeds into the depression and PTSD as well.
There is no definite treatment for COVID-19 currently, and as a result, health workers only manage the signs and symptoms that people present with.
I'm not new to autoimmune illnesses, so I have a bag of of tried and tested things that I've used over the years. So for me, it's been a lot of rest.
Yeah.
Reducing anything and any experience that induces level of stress of any kind, because that will increase the level of cortisol, and then it just spirals.
I decided to take that approach, functional integrative medicine. I feel like it deals with the entire body, and all the systems, and also deals with the root issues, rather than putting band-aids on the issues. Also just deals with, the mind-body connection. And as we've said, there's a huge mental health element to this.
COVID-19 being a new phenomenon across the globe, Everyone is trying to learn more about it. Many Kenyans are still not aware of the long-term complications of COVID.
Umesikia kitu inaitwa long COVID, yani mtu anapatwa na COVID na haponi, anaendelea tu kukua na hizo signs.
Sijaisikia.
Lakini wewe mwenyewe unafikiria ukipatwa na COVID unapona ama bado tu utaendelea kukua na hizo signs milele?
Kulingana na matumaini naweza pona.
Kuna wenye wanapata wakiendelea na dawa nini, maybe wanapona.
Gina says that people experiencing long COVID are not infectious. Current research shows that anyone can get long COVID. However, women tend to get affected a lot.
There are 3 studies in the US that showed that some people actually got better after getting the vaccine. So we don't know what the immune response the vaccine triggered within the body. But some were saying that, you know, I used to walk around with my inhaler because I couldn't walk for long without my chest feeling tight. But after I got the vaccine, I'm 100% better. Some people said they used to have persistent headaches, but after the vaccine, they got better. But again, those are just reports, people just telling their story.
Currently online, there are different forums for COVID long haulers where they get to share in their support groups.
Been the most helpful for me on this journey is the support groups. There have been so many international ones that were started last year, and there's one in particular that helped me a lot, more than any doctor has. And so I started speaking out about my journey in December last year, and then in March I did an interview, and then I got a lot of people reaching out to me, and a lot of people, I think on the same day, I got 300 friend requests on Facebook and messages from people saying, oh my gosh, I'm going through the same thing, you know, can I join your group?
Mombasa and Washuka say that stigma has been an issue, and as a result, many people facing similar challenges are afraid of coming out. Right now, it is more of an individual responsibility.
Even for the medical fraternity, is that if a patient comes to you with these symptoms, they're not malingering, it is actually a real thing. And that as we're treating them, we actually need to think about post-COVID clinics or long COVID clinics, so that we involve a whole panel of specialists. Some of them require active rehabilitation. So you might need to involve maybe a physiotherapist. The majority that come with anxiety disorders or mood disorders, you might actually require counseling or a psychologist or a psychiatrist to help you. The ones who require maybe some respiratory therapy are the ones who maybe still need maybe to be on a nebulizer or on oxygen. We need to teach them breathing exercises, etc.
Kenya has recorded over 1 million COVID-19 cases so far and counting. Experts warn that COVID-19 is not going away anytime soon, and the ultimate solution is to remain vigilant and partake the vaccine. With new discoveries like the long-term effects of the virus, we can only hope and maintain measures to ensure that we do not get the virus. Saada Hassan for Health Watch, KTN News.